Salutations. You might be wondering, astute viewer, where I've been. And the answer to that, my friend, is a simple sentence. I am an engineering student. And if there's one thing us engineering students are known for, it is that we don't got a lot of time on our hands. So when exam week rolled around, I was like, no biggie. I'll just take the next week off. And obviously this week, during the exams, to take a break from recording videos so I can get right back to it. Well, during makeup exam week, I got more assignments, and then I had to make up for those assignments because the assignments I was supposed to get done last week during exam week were not possible to do because I was studying for my exams. Oh my goodness, and it just kept going. So now here I am. I'm back. And I am very excited to tell you guys about what's been going on in these past 4 or 5 weeks. I wish there was a thing where I could go 6, 7, but no, it's not been 6 or 7 weeks. It has been 4 or 5. And I don't really know the exact count. I could probably go by days. But I don't know that either. So let's get into it. I'm going to start from the very beginning. Obviously, going in chronological order. To make sure you guys are caught up with the state of my tank right now. So let's get into it. I've got my tank right now on pretty minimal brightness, and that's because I am recording this at 6:45 p.m., and I've turned the brightness down because, obviously, I don't want to shock my plants into thinking that it's photosynthesis time when it's actually not. I don't want you guys to photosynthesize at 6:45 p.m. So here we go, let's get into it. So first things first, you'll notice I have some Ammonia gracilis. You might also notice that it is still yellow. It is piss yellow. And in the back here too, even with my, more mature plants, I guess I'll do it from the front because my Ludwigian Natans keeps getting in the way. They are still piss yellow. The reason for this is because when I showed up to the fish store, or I honestly just went online and ordered these plants, even though they picture them green, they picture them red. I was expecting red plants. No, they gave me green plants. They gave me completely green plants, and they were immersed. So, and I didn't even know you can grow Ammonia gracilis immersed. I thought they had to be submerged. But no, apparently not. So that's why they were completely freaking green, and they hadn't been fed carbon dioxide. So they're slowly turning yellow, and they're not the fastest growers in the world. They're not. They're just not. So that's why they're still piss yellow. Now I have raised my carbon dioxide levels, and as you can see, this is a different arrangement than the way I had it last time, which was in this corner. And the reason for that, my friends, is the fish. You'll notice I have some very, very cute oh, hey buddy. Cute chili rasboras. Hey, can you focus, please? Okay, well, they're very small fish. It is very hard to focus on them. Yeah, oh, there we go. That's a beautiful shot. Hello, shrimpy. Anyway, yeah, I got some fish. Whoop-de-doo. I got 7 of them right now. They're called chili rasboras. So I was like, oh yeah, well, I got them from my local fish store. That's great. Focus, support your local fish store. My chair is not stable. Let me fix that. Okay. Yeah, so I got them from my local fish store, and I was like, surely they're acclimated to my city's water, right? No, 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 no. Because the same day after I got my fish, my TDS meter arrived in the mail, in the package. So I went down to my package collection area, and I was like, hey, give me my TDS meter. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll bring you your package. So I got my package. I opened it up. It was my TDS meter. I went in and tested it. And my TDS water, I don't even know how to say this without freaking out. It was 700 TDS. 700. Do I need to bring it out just to show you guys how insane that is? Here it is. I freaking got it on Amazon for like $6. This guy. Yep, this guy. There's a thing on the back, and I don't know if it's backwards for you guys. It might be. which case that would be kind of a shame. But you can see that the scale stops at 5. Okay, maybe you can't. The scale stops at 500. My TDS was literally off the chart. Literally. Not metaphorically. Literally off the chart. So I was like, oh my gosh. I need to fix this right now. Because what I didn't realize was that even though the water parameters were the same, the TDS was not. So quickly thereafter, I lost about 4 fish. And I was like, damn, this sucks. I'm gonna have to come back for more. So the same day, I had a DoorDash or whatever for 10 gallons, 10 individual jugs, by the way, 10 of these guys, 10 of them delivered within an hour, and that was great. And I was, because, I was so freaking out about this. I was like, there's literally no way my fish are just gonna die. I'm a terrible aquarium hobbyist. How am I even, I'm literally killing these animals. I'm a murderer. Yeah, I was freaking out. But then, so over the course of about maybe 3 or so hours, I did a water change and got the distilled water, in my tank, and it went to about 600. Good start. I did that the next day, got it down to 550. Kept doing that for like 3 or 4 days. I got it down to like 500. I was like, all right, we've made it. No, we haven't. The ideal fish, the ideal Boraros TDS range is between 50 and 150. Now, these were acclimated, per my local fish store, to my city's water. So presumably they might be acclimated to some TDS, especially if they're tank bred, which they were. So we could stretch that range maybe to like 250, maybe 300 if we're really pulling at strings. But I was like, we're just gonna have to make it work. Because the thing is that I had run out of 10 gallons of individually packaged distilled water gallon jugs. So that was an issue. That means I couldn't do any more water changes, and I was stuck at 500 and climbing. Because if there's one thing, let me give you a little bit of a chemistry lesson. I'll pop you back over to the main monitor. Alright, kids, time for a chemistry lesson. If I have a rock in a body of water, and the water evaporates, what happens to the rock? It stays the same amount, right? But if we compare the size of that rock before the evaporation to the size of that rock after the evaporation, well, that rock, it makes up a larger percentage of the water displacement. In non-baby terms, this means that the TDS, as the water evaporates, gets more concentrated because there's less water to disperse it. Which could potentially mean that over the course of those 5 days that I did the water changes, my work could be undone in literally a night. Like, what do you even do to that? And the reason I do specify exactly one night is because that's exactly what happened. On one of the days, I'm not sure when, this was like roughly a couple weeks ago, I woke up and I was like, wow, the water level has gone down a lot. Let me check the TDS real quick. It was back at 670 TDS, parts per million, by the way. This is all in units of parts per million, not picometers or whatever. And I still didn't have my 10 water gallon distilled, my 10 individually packed in water gallon jugs. But it was a Friday, which means I could go home and grab it on Saturday, the next day. So I did what I could. And by the way, I didn't have like a water filter or anything. the campus, the dorms that I'm living in right now don't use reverse osmosis water. I tested every single one of the water outlets in my dorm. None of them have a TDS under 600. And it's just like, how? Like, what? Like, there is a distilled water. So in the kitchen, there are 2 faucets per sink, and there are 2 sinks. One of them is just a normal ass faucet. The second one says distilled water on it. So why is it that when I test the distilled water for TDS, it still is 500, which is not distilled? Anyway, so yeah, so I couldn't use that, but I did what I could. I didn't. I added a little bit of water, but that's about it. Just to not stress them out from like the high flow, because then even though the knob at the time was all the way turned down to like block the flow output of my hob filter, it was still really high for them. Anyway, went home Saturday, got back with my distilled water. I got 8-gallon jugs. I got less this time because it was a lot to carry with 10. And then excuse me. And then, I came back and I refilled the water. I did a little bit of a water change, about 30%. And I did that for like maybe 3 or 4 more days. TDS by the end of that was about 450. Let's do a victory lap. Round of applause, people. I got my TDS down from 700 to 450. I literally halved it. Or, no, I almost halved it. So yeah. And the week before, in my, frenzy to get the 10 individually packaged water gallon jugs, I also ordered this thing. Now, some of you may call it a Brita filter. I'm more sophisticated because I know the actual name of the brand I ordered from. It is Culligan's Zero Water. This is not a sponsorship, by the way. I'm too small for that. I was like, damn, how do I get my TDS down? I looked up water filter for reverse osmosis. I was like, damn, not paying $300 for that. I was like, water filter holdable? And this is what came up. And I was like, okay, yeah. If it says it'll make it literally 0 TDS, I might as well give it a shot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm in the process of giving it a shot. Now, you might notice I have some leftover individually packaged water gallon jugs. And that was because this whole ordeal was about a week ago. And my water change schedule is about 30% every 9 days. I'm currently in the process of changing that to like 20% every 4 or 5 days, just to make sure the TDS doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. But yeah, so that's what that's about, and that's where my fish are at right now. I did lose 4. I ended up getting some more. Some of them also died due to from the acclimation stress. That's not something I can control because they're delicate little poinsettias. So some of them died, and it is what it is. That's just survival of the fittest, as they say. So now I'm right now down to 7, and 7, it's a fine number. It's just not a great number. They ideally prefer packs, schools, as the word is, of 10 to 12. But they can live with 7. They can live with 7. And on the other hand, I had already bought 12 one time. It was $60. Then I had bought another, I don't know, 4 or something, however many I got to land myself at 7. And that was $30. And I was like, if you do the math, you gotta carry the one. Okay, it looks like the total is around $90. I don't know if I want to spend $100 on fish, if you catch my drift. So, no thanks. Maybe I'll wait a little bit and get some more in the future. But for now, I'm gonna keep them as is. because one of the other, cost-benefit trade-offs, that's something you learn as an industrial engineer if you take engineering economics, which I am taking right now. One of the cost-benefit trade-offs that you have to consider when getting fish is how many of them will die. And for me, that is a lot, because Boraras are just pretty little princesses that can't handle any amount of stress at all. Or they will literally die. They will just straight up die. And that sucks, because it means that currently, the cost of getting 6 more fish or 4 more fish outweighs the possible benefit of them having a bigger school. Because, number one, when I get those new fish and introduce them, some of them will guaranteed die. The second thing is that it is stressful for them when they receive new tank mates, because they have to reestablish their social hierarchy. Now, I have done some research online, and it seems like there is some uncertainty on how strong this social hierarchy is with Chili Rasporas. But no matter, because it's still a factor, having to reestablish your whole social hierarchy is stressful, and that might kill them as well. So I'm pretty hands off. I'm pretty laissez-faire, as the French say, for now anyway. The last thing are my shrimp. Now I don't have them pictured right now. I'm probably gonna video later and put it as like B-roll up here, because I currently turn my light off in order to not induce photosynthesis in my plants. My shrimp keep having babies. They are prolific reproducers. Very, very good in terms of from an evolution perspective. I have a lot of shrimp. I'm thinking about selling them for profit, because I did not get black boutique shrimp for nothing. If there's one thing, well, I have said this so many times, but if there's one thing an industrial engineer knows how to do, it's how to make money. So we're gonna have it roll in pretty soon once I get that business venture set up, of selling boutique black rose shrimp. But in the meantime, we'll just let them grow up, and we'll see how they do. That's about all I got. I'm about to go play Minecraft now, so see you guys later. Hi, it's editing me. So, one thing I wanted to add is that I think this will just have to be a trend for the remaining videos that I upload, because it is just not really sustainable for me to record videos during the daytime when my lights are naturally on, because I do my best work, my best engineering work during the day, and, math and whatever else I'm doing. So this will probably just be a night. Oh, sorry to breathe into you guys. This will probably just be a nightly thing. So yeah, and if you have any ideas about how I can configure my lighting setup so that it can like come on at a very dim time during the night without me having to like reset it when I wake up in the morning, that'd be great. Now you might be wondering to yourself, well, hold on, dude, aren't you an engineer? Isn't your whole shtick to like solve problems and stuff? And to that I say, my career is in engineering. My hobby is not in engineering, and that's that.